Hello there, welcome to Saberjaw Gaming, where we always take the high ground, and welcome to Jurassic Park, our retro review of the Nintendo Entertainment System 8-bit classic based on the original Jurassic Park movie. I am a huge fan of the Jurassic Park films, and with the new movie Jurassic World Rebirth on the horizon, I thought it was about time I finally did a review of a Jurassic Park game, and where better to start than the first one. Jurassic Park on the Nintendo Entertainment System was released in 1993 to coincide with the release of the original movie. The plot of the game was a much more simplified version of the film itself. Playing as Dr. Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill in the movie, you find yourself stranded on Jurassic Park. The power is cut and all the dinosaurs have been let loose. Across a number of levels, you find yourself having to rescue Tim and Lexi, the two children from the film, before getting power back to the island and escaping with your lives. For the majority of the game, it is a top-down shooter, with Alan Grant working his way around different levels, collecting eggs before eventually collecting a key card that will move him on to the next stage. I say for the most part because there are a number of little mini levels that do work differently, whether it be individual games where you're fighting against a T-Rex, trying to avoid being stampeded by a, stampede of Triceratops, and of course one particular level in which you're on a boat working your way upriver and trying to avoid being spat at by a Dilophosaurus or colliding with a Brachiosaur. And on that note, by the way, if the main thing you're looking for in this game is dinosaurs, you will actually get a fair bunch of them. With small compies, velociraptors, Dilophosaurus, and even a Dimetrodon, which isn't technically a dinosaur and you never see it in the films, all taking part. As well as that, there are the mini levels where you will fight a Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops stampeding towards you, and see Brachiosaurs as you make your way upriver, as mentioned earlier. Outside of Dr. Grant and the two grandchildren, we don't really see any other characters from within the film. However, I don't really think that any of them would have been necessary for this condensed version of the plot. What is rather cool is that we get to see Mr. DNA every time you log into one of the computers, so that's something as well. Plus, of course, in a Jurassic Park game, the main stars of the show are the dinosaurs, and as mentioned, we get plenty of them. The graphics are fairly bright and colourful for a Nintendo Entertainment System game. The sound is good, if it is slightly regrettable that we don't get the actual Jurassic Park music, and the gameplay is varied and entertaining. The vast majority of levels and environments don't exactly scream Jurassic Park. However, we do get to see a number of iconic moments and environments, from the Jurassic Park gate to the Velociraptor pen. Other than that though, we get a number of levels that are, let's just say, a use of artistic license. However, given that in the Jurassic Park world most of the environments look the same, that could get a little bit boring in a video game, so maybe what they did here was the right idea. However, is that what the audience thought at the time? Given the massive popularity of the Jurassic Park movies, how was this game received when it was released? Well, looking back, most of what I found reviewing this was very positive. However, the scores themselves were kind of varied. Computer and Video Game Magazine gave this 82%, whilst Allgame gave it 4 stars out of 5, translating to, again, about 80%. However, Game Players Magazine gave it 69%, which, whilst still not terrible, still felt a little bit stingy. Paul Rand of Computer and Video Game Magazine commented that the game stepped away from the usual platform styles that most of these video game from movie adaptations tended to do at the time. Nintendo Power praised the game for being able to recreate certain moments from within the film, although, if I'm honest, I don't actually think there's too many of those. They did also comment that whilst the aiming in the gun controls was a little bit off, on the whole, the controls of the game were really quite good. Nintendo Power Magazine also ranked it 4th in the top games for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1993. No small feat. But what about looking back on this game and playing it now? How does this game stand up to modern scrutiny? Well, I've got to say, it stands up pretty well. I originally played this game on the Game Boy, not the Nintendo Entertainment System, so going back to play it now is the first time I ever actually played this version of it, although it is, for the most part, the same. The graphics are, of course, slightly better on the NES and are in full colour. The gameplay is roughly the same, although the controls are a bit more manageable on the Nintendo version. I have to say though that if anything, and maybe yes it is because it's the Nintendo version of the game I'm playing, not the Game Boy version, I actually enjoyed this far more now than I did when I first played it. I think initially, as a kid, I found the game quite tricky. Maybe I struggled with some of the ideas of what I was meant to be doing, whereas now I find it simple enough to play, but I wouldn't say it was too easy either. The dinosaurs themselves can provide you with quite a challenge, and whilst the plan of the game, the plot of it, the gameplay design itself is simplistic, it's enough to keep you entertained for quite a while. I am slightly sad that we didn't get more iconic moments from within the actual movie in the game. However, I don't necessarily mind that too much. Realistically, in order to make this into an 8-bit video game, they were going to have to change a lot. So trying not to follow the exact story of the film and instead just following the theme of dinosaurs running amok seemed like a good idea to me. Overall, Jurassic Park for the Nintendo Entertainment System is a really fun game. It's aged really well, and whilst the graphics could be better, the gameplay is spot on. I would say this game easily deserves an 8 out of 10, and quite frankly, it's aged like a fine wine. I'm enjoying it now probably more than I would have done when I played it back in the day. I do have access to the SNES and Game Boy versions of the same game, so if you'd like to see them get their own reviews, or maybe a compounded one, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've played this game, what were your thoughts on it? Do you remember it being this good, or am I overrating it? Comment below, let me know. Until next time, take the high ground.